released report actually, go above the estimation numbers, that means the dollar is getting stronger. The rand, it will continue becoming weaker and weaker. But if the numbers on Friday, they decline, they're not above the estimation numbers that they want to release on Thursday or Wednesday, that actually means the rand to a dollar is now going to, the rand is now going to strengthen when the dollar is weakening. So this is the chase that we actually seeing at the present, but things are really, really bad. 19 rand to 84 cents, 19 rand to 85 cents is fluctuating at that price at this particular time. So that's what exactly is coming on a market for this week. And if you actually listen to this video and check all instruments that we mention on a specific day, you end up catching the volatility and start making a good profit. All right, so just because we already started jumping in Africa market economy, which is also promoting the Africa free trade to everyone who's living in Africa. We already talked about the rand right now, where the rand is actually sitting at particular time, but also it's very important to look into the stocks locally. So Johannesburg Stock Exchange today in the morning has just reported on 0.03% growth on all shares. So the all shares, it's one of the stocks that is listed in Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which is, it has a different type of companies from all over here in locally and also around the countries in Africa. So we're seeing the growth, 76,613 rand, the price at the moment, 0.03 growth. But all properties, we see the decline on all properties, 0.15 decline, quite a lot of decline, 0.15, sitting at 7,302. Pretty much the reason why it declining, maybe also the increase of the interest rate last week by the Reserve Governor of South Africa, so that it goes all the way to 50% basis points. So everyone who's actually having properties and a bond, there's a little bit of increase that actually come out of that 50%, 50% basis points. So that's why we're seeing all property shares declining to 0.15%. Kept shareholders, the top 40 kept shareholders are sitting at 19,851. Again, decline of 0.14%. I think it also declining of the rand, to a dollar, because of these are the shareholder, the biggest shareholder, they register themselves in a stock exchange at a specific index, and that index is called the kept shareholder 40, right? So the kept shareholder top 40 declining at 0.14%. I mean, if the rand to a dollar is declining, it's losing value, the rand, and the dollar is gaining. The shareholders that are having shares in South Africa, they're not going to gain anything. That means also they are losing. That's why their stocks in Johannesburg Stock Exchange, it's also showing the declining of all shares. When we look at the top 40, I think it's the one, top 40 South Africa is the one that actually gained with the 0.06%. It's like all shares as well, they gain at 0.3%. So these are actually, top prices at the particular time in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Of course, it's the opening of the market in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Everything is open now, so we can be able to anticipating maybe some of the instruments to grow, recover from the fall that falls yesterday, and some of them to continue declining according to rand to a dollar, the way we are seeing at particular time. So moving on from all shares from Johannesburg Stock Exchange or South Africa, we keeping on following the news, in Zim, that they're actually really betting themselves for their gold, so that it can be the biggest currency that cover their, dollar currency. So we're seeing also today the news coming from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe bids to be the African Carbon Credit Trading Center. So they want to be the African Carbon Trading Center. When you want to trade the carbon credit, you actually, the center should be in Zim. So that's another news. We keeping on an eye on it and keep following up what exactly is going on in Zim. Not only that, I saw also in terms of South Africa Central Bank's sounds alarm on a threat of a sanction. So that's another big story in the country right now, in South African country. There are actually a threat in terms of the sanction. The reason why there's a threat in terms of sanction is because of there was a specific, a ship that landed in our base, and they actually suspecting that that ship have moved with the weapons to go all the way to Russia, like we are sponsoring Russia with the weapons so that they can, go on with the war to Ukraine. And we saw the ambassador of America in Pretoria actually, bringing up the claims in terms of South Africa offering the Russia the weapons. That is why the South African Central Bank sounds very, very alarming in terms of the threat of the sanction. Because if they give us a threat in terms of the sanction, like the way that Russia have given them about the SWIFT, bank, they're no longer using the SWIFT. So SWIFT, it has over 300,000 transaction, location all over the world. So you can imagine if they catch you to transact money from a different type of, demographic location, how are you going to do the business? How are you going to do, the transaction of the business? So that's a threat that we actually facing at particular time, but we're going to be keeping on following up with the news to see where exactly it's landing. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Keep on subscribing at the Daily Money Market. We will actually bring more news about the global economy, about the forex market, the financial literacy, just to make sure that we share a little bit that we know. All right, we salute.